I'm Nate Leupp, chairman of the Greenville County Republican Party. We intended to live stream our meeting last Monday night, but had a few issues with technology. A few of you have asked me to post a video of my chairman's report, but unfortunately, the chairman forgot to fully charge the camera battery. But fortunately, I do tend to memorize my chairman reports, and so I wanted to finish that for you where I cut off. I started by saying, a few years ago, a friend told me about something that had happened in a foreign country where he was living. There was a group of believers that got together and established a local church. And over a period of time, they were able to grow into a small congregation, and they were even able to build their own building. The church was really excited when a family started visiting them, and they ended up joining. And this family brought a few other families, and they joined as well. And each of those families did likewise. And it got to the point where there was more new members than there were existing members. And no one had a problem with this until these new members got together with their majority and voted out the entire church leadership, the deacons, the pastor. And it was quickly made known that they didn't join the church because they agreed with their doctrines. They didn't join because they wanted to be a part of that church. They were a part of an opposing religion. And it was also made known that this had happened to various small congregations across that region. For this religious sect found that it was much easier to take over an existing organization than it was to work and build their own. Friends, Republicans, we are the Greenville County Republican Party. Our organization has existed for many decades. One thing that I'm very proud of as your chairman is the support that we have from our former chairman going back 3 and 4 decades. Chad Groover's here, Chairman Groover, Chairman Stephen Brown's here. And this shows that we are currently doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're being true to our mission. One thing that I've always promoted is closed primaries, because Democrats should not have a say in who we choose as our nominees.
That's right.
The closed primaries really is based in a principle that goes a little deeper, that non-Republicans should not be meddling in the affairs of the Republican Party.
That's right.
Non-Republicans should not be meddling in the affairs of our Republican Party. One thing that saddened me after our last precinct reorganization is I reached out to new members. I actually came across a handful of people that told me that they weren't Republicans, that they came out because they wanted to change our party. As I reached out to some other new members, I came across a few who told me that they were Republicans, and they wanted to come out and help the party. They were told that our organization was dwindling in size. Anyone want to look around really quickly? They were told that our finances were in disarray. They were told that the party didn't support President Trump, and they wanted to come out and help. As the video began to cut out, I started to answer that last question. Over the last few months, I've received many calls from voters just as frustrated as I am, and I'm sure as you are, wanting to know about our party's support for our president. I asked them if I can take a few minutes to tell them who I am. I let them know that I've been privileged to be a 2-time national delegate for our president, something that just a very few people in South Carolina can claim. I also let them know that I can make a strong case that I have worked harder for our president in his reelection than most any other person in our county. We have a few other members that can make a similar claim. I enjoyed attending the rallies. I enjoyed participating in the car parades. But let's be real. There is a big difference between attending a rally, participating in a car parade, and working hard for our president. I'm not being critical of anyone who didn't have the time or the opportunity to volunteer. But for those of you who are being critical of those of us who did spend the time to volunteer, I'd like you to answer 2 questions. Number 1, could you tell us what you did directly volunteering for the Trump campaign? Number 2, can you tell us how much time you spent doing that? And if you're enticed to maybe not tell the full truth, please know that we do have the list of every person that volunteered for President Trump and his re-election in Greenville County. The good news is that as those new Republicans came out and saw for themselves what was going on in the Greenville County Republican Party, they saw that our numbers weren't dwindling. They saw that we have almost doubled our attendance at our meetings since I became an officer of the party. They saw that our bank accounts weren't dwindling, but that we have more money in our accounts right now in this point in our cycle than almost any other time that we can see in our past history. They saw that our organization supports President Trump. I can't tell you how many of them have approached me over the last year to year and a half and told me that they felt deceived and lied to. And they were. We had a good example on Monday night of someone who approached me after our last convention. She invited me to lunch. I may have talked her ear off a little too much. And she told me that she wanted to get involved. And she said these words, "How can I help?" As a head of an organization, let me say that this probably applies to any organization. That there's a big difference between someone coming and saying, "I'd like to get involved. What position can you give me?" Or, "I'd like to get involved. What title can I have?" And simply saying, "I'd like to get involved. How can I help?" For those of you that came by our campaign office, there's a good chance that you ran into Diane Vreeland. Diane, over the last year and a half, has become a very important part of our organization, working in our front office, volunteering for the president in his re-election, and being there with a willing spirit to help as we accomplish our purposes. In closing, simply because there are some people out there that like to take my words out of context, let me be clear. The Greenville County Republican Party is an established organization that has existed for many decades, and we are being true to our purposes. We are promoting our platform, we are helping Republicans get elected, and we are growing our party. The task is monumental, and we love to have help as we accomplish those purposes. If you are a Republican, please reach out to us. We'd love to get you involved. If you're willing to say those words that Diane said, "I'd like to get involved. How can I help?" Please reach out to us. My email address is chairman@greenvillegop.com, or you can send us a Facebook message, and we'd love to get you plugged in. Thank you.